That's so cold. Is that what I think it is? Are we in the day after tomorrow? Where's Dennis Quaid? Is that him right there? Hey, it's Dennis QuaidCat5. What are you doing? Well, I'm gonna go save Jake Gyllenhaal. Hey, it's getting a little cold out here. Do you have any hand warmers? No, I don't have any hand warmers. And if I did, I'd be using them. That's right, guys. We have winter storms and polar air that's primed to strike millions. Air straight from the Arctic Circle is making its way down to the lower 48. And we also have a couple of winter storms that could impact the eastern United States. We're gonna have all of that and more, and your forecast starting now. What does the U.S. look like right now? Well, we've got some winter weather advisories and some winter storm warnings here, off in eastern Ohio and western Pennsylvania, where we could get a couple of inches of snow and significantly more in the mountains. Elsewhere, we've got high wind warnings down here in Texas, with still a small area in here in Southern California that's under a red flag warning. Those winds are gonna ramp down the next couple of days, so that should go away. And then we got some winter weather advisories out here on the west, with an air stagnation advisory out here in Oregon. All right, I guess that just means we're gonna have poor air quality there. Interesting. Never seen that before. I'm sure it's been there, but I've just never seen it. Cool. Outside of that, the U.S. is pretty calm. Probably gonna change in the next several days, though. The reason being because we have polar air that's making its way all the way down from the Arctic Circle. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Once again, we've been talking about this for a while. Huge swaths of the country are gonna see below normal temperatures starting about this Sunday, going through the entire week next week. Now, here's our temperature anomalies, and notice all that purple. That is frigid Arctic air that's making its way down from Canada and the Arctic Circle. This is going to be an absolutely widespread and massive cold outbreak, the likes of which we haven't seen this year. We're talking temperatures of 10 to 20 to 30, even 40 degrees below normal for basically the entire United States east of the Rockies. Now, another thing I wanted to show you is how consistent the models have been with this cold air. This is why we know it's going to happen. These are the last 4 runs of the Euro model. Look how consistent those cold temperatures have been. Unfortunately, if you're hoping for things to trend warmer, I got news for you. Our cold outbreak is all but certain at this point. Now let's go ahead and time this thing out. Starting on Friday, temperatures will be about normal in a lot of the country. As we go into the weekend, notice all of that polar air sitting up in Canada, and it's going to filter its way into the country. This is on Saturday. Watch it slowly work its way into the country, and then even more so on Sunday. These are actual temperatures. Anywhere you see white or teal or blue, all of that is below 0 temperatures. And that's your actual temperature, not your wind chill. So continuing on Monday, our temperatures are gonna be downright frigid with lows in the single digits to below 0 in many locations. And this is gonna continue well into Tuesday and even Wednesday. Now those cold temperatures are gonna hang around until Friday into Saturday of next week, where they're going to warm up. And I put that in air quotes because instead of high temperatures being 0 to 10 to 20 degrees, you might get 20 to 30 degrees. Still is not warm in my book. I got news for you guys. This is in the longer range, but the following week we could have another Arctic air outbreak as all that polar air reloads. This is in and around like Thursday, January 30th. Give a couple of days on either side of that. But I want you guys to prepare that this first blast of Arctic air could only be the beginning. The rest of January looks to keep that cold air flowing in the US. Now, how far south is that cold air going to go? Well, this map shows you the probability of getting temperatures of below freezing. And that purple you see on the map here, basically for the entire United States, that is over a 90% chance. So to start the week next week, temperatures of below freezing could make their way all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Going back to the day after tomorrow, if you live above this line, it's already too late. Cold weather is on the way. You guys remember when he draws that line on the map? It says, if you live north of here, it's too late to evacuate. And that's what I was going for. Well, it's not going to be too late for those that are north of this line, but it will be frigid. Going back to my previous point of how long this cold air is going to last, the Weather Prediction Center is also starting to pick up on this area of the country of getting below normal temperatures towards the end of January. So it looks like our cold is going to stick around for a long time. This seems like the perfect time to remind you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and smash the like button. Also, turn your notifications to all so you're always getting all the videos. Back to the polar bear vortex and whatever else is going on with this video. Now, some of the coldest areas of the country are going to be the Ohio Valley and in the Midwest. What we're looking at now, this is wind chills, and check this out as we go into Monday. First of all, guys, we're going to have negative wind chills here, or really the foreseeable future. But going into next week, notice how these wind chills absolutely plummet. You've got wind chills of negative 30 to 40 below. And then going into Tuesday, watch this. Our wind chills in the upper Ohio Valley could be negative 20 to negative 30, even close to negative 40. That's how cold it's going to feel. Just showing you the actual temperatures. We could be negative 10 to negative 20 below in some spots. My goodness. I mean, we're talking day after tomorrow type cold here, people. This is a big time problem. With those wind chills we're gonna have, frostbite will be a big concern. This is the wind chill chart from the National Weather Service. The two different scales here are actual temperatures on the x-axis and wind on the y-axis. So for example here, if the wind is blowing 5 miles an hour and the temperature is 0, your wind chill is -11. Now for frostbite times, anywhere in this light blue, you're gonna get frostbite in about 30 minutes. Anywhere in the darker blue, you're gonna get frostbite in about 10 minutes. Anywhere in the purple, you're gonna get frostbite in 5 minutes. So looking at some of these wind chills, we're talking frostbite in about 10 to 30 minutes generally, with our wind chills being about -20 to -40 below. So keep that in mind this next week. If you are gonna be out and about, please bundle up because you can get wind chill faster than you think in these conditions. So we know about the cold, but how much snow are we going to get? What we're looking at now is the European ensemble, and this goes through the end of next week. This is the average of 52 models combined together. You'll notice the greatest areas for snow are in the Rockies up here in the west, and then the upper Ohio Valley in the northeast. Now this takes into account several possible winter storms over the next couple of weeks. Another thing you'll notice is this signal for snow down here in the south. This is our second winter storm that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the video. There's a lot of uncertainty around that storm, and depending on what model you're looking at, some show nothing and some show big time snow. First, we'll take a look at the next couple of days from the Euro here. So the Euro model does have a low pressure that's going to form north in Canada and another weaker low that'll form down here in Oklahoma. Now, both of these are going to start to converge on one another, and that southern low will generally get pulled towards that northern low. Now, parts of the Ohio Valley could get a little bit of snow from this and interior portions of the northeast, but generally it'll be light with maybe an inch or two in some spots. Now, going into Sunday, this is winter storm number 1. It doesn't look too impressive at this moment, but there have been models like the Euro hinting at a low forming off the coast in the northeast, and on the northwest side of that getting some snow that does form in New Jersey, Delaware, New York, Maine, all along the coast there. That storm should be a quick mover and on its way out Sunday night into Monday morning. Now once these two systems move out, they'll be replaced by a big ridge of high pressure, and that'll keep things incredibly cold over the United States. You'll notice down the bottom part of the screen, this is the Euro model, and it is picking up on some systems starting to form here. This is early in the week, say around Tuesday morning. Now watch as the Euro moves this system off to the east. There's some pretty good snow that will fall in places even further to the south than the winter storm we just had in the south. With Houston, New Orleans, the Florida Panhandle, even Tallahassee getting some pretty good snow here. Now, one thing I'm going to be watching is with this high pressure that'll be in place, with all of that cold air filtering down from Canada, is how far south will it push this low pressure down here? If our cold air is stronger than forecasted and it pushes this system further to the south, I got news for you. This winter storm will be a nothing burger, and areas that could have gotten heavy snow will be cold and dry. I know, that's not great, but that is a very real possibility, and that possibility is one that is depicted on the GFS. Notice how our storm system down here remains fairly disorganized, and that high that's over here pushes this storm way too far south, and you get basically nothing. Looking at the snow totals on the GFS, they back it up. Notice how the GFS says there'll be pretty much no snow from this particular storm. If we go back to the Euro tells a much different story, with 3 to 6 inches of snow and even more in the Florida Panhandle. Are you kidding me? That would be historic and make some snow lovers in Tallahassee very, very happy. Now, this is the last 3 models of the Euro, and it shows you how the snow has trended a little bit south, but how this one model has been all over the place. So there is potential for a storm down here in the deep south, and in places like Florida that haven't seen this type of snow in years. But there's some big time uncertainty. This is the national blend of models, which shows you the average snowfall among all the models for our winter storm coming up. Average is generally about 1 to 2 inches, maybe more in spots, and this is significantly different than the Euro model. So this shows you the uncertainty that we still have, and we might not know until a day before how much snow everyone's gonna get. Hopefully in my next video I'll have a little bit more specifics. I know the potential is there. We're gonna have to wait and see. Going into the week of January 26th, we'll have several systems that we'll have to watch. The first one being this one near the beginning of not next week, but the following week. Notice as we keep going, another storm forms down here in the south. Now, both of these storms that I'm showing you are our 300, our 360 on the model. So we got to be careful with getting too specific. But just know, with this pattern that we're in, I'm telling you, this is a cold and snowy pattern for the eastern United States. And we'll probably see several storms try to form next week and the week after. That's right, Jake Gyllenhaal. Winter's here to stay. So keep burning those books. There's no end in sight to the cold and snow. Now, the last thing I'm going to hit on is our winds. And the update from the previous video video is conditions are continuing to dramatically improve. Notice how this weekend we're going to get a big time break in the winds in some of the hardest hit areas for fire. So this hopefully will allow firefighters to get everything under control. If you do know a first responder that's out there, or you just know a first responder in general, like a firefighter, give them some love. What they do and continue to do is put their lives on the line for you. QuaidCat5 sends all of his love to any first responder and anyone out there in California that's dealing with this tragedy. I'll continue praying for all of you every single day. Oh man, this fire is nice. Thanks, Jake Gyllenhaal. Could you stop burning so many books? We're all gonna be fine. Anyway, your dad's almost here. Oh, there he is now. Hello, Dennis QuaidCat5. Thank you for saving us. I told Jake over here to stop burning books. Did you just burn the Hunger Games? I love that book. Don't burn that. It's catnip Everdeen. Jake! You see what I did there? Huh? Catnip? Anyway, that about does it for the forecast here. From all of us here at the Stormfront Freaks, I'm QuaidCat5, that's Jake Gyllenhaal, and that's Dennis QuaidCat5, and all of us will see you on the next one. Hopefully the next one won't be as cold. I'm freezing!